kind of feel like I should be wearing something a bit like Halloween-y for this video. Damn! You know what? I quite like this costume. It's pretty good. I don't know where the Cornetto came from. Guess it just kind of goes with the outfit. Just gonna undo the top button. We're not in fucking school. I'm not keeping the top button done up. Horror is very subjective because not everyone is gonna find the same stuff scary. And it's a bit like in the way of comedy's hard to do because it's subjective. But just like comedy, there is a way to do it good and there is a way to do it bad. So because it's Halloween, or at least the time of recording this video, I thought we'd look at some different ways horror has been done and how you can make stuff scary to almost anyone.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Now for most of the video I kind of want to divert away from typical horror because I think it can be quite boring, but it does still have some merit. I thought I should at least bring it up. A typical horror film or game will have a group of adults or one singular adult avoiding some sort of evil or slasher. But I think the biggest problem with these types of films is that they're not really memorable and don't stand out amongst each other. Most of the time when you think of a series like Halloween, you'll think of more Michael Myers than anything else. Or for Scream, you'll think of Ghostface, Nightmare, you'll think of Freddy Krueger, and Friday the 13th, you'll think of Jason. But I think the biggest problem with these is that they don't have lasting effects on you. Yeah, for about an hour or two, you'll probably be a bit on edge, but none of it's going to stick with you for days or maybe even weeks. But I think slashers are still loved in the horror franchise or genre because of how realistic they are. That's what makes them scary. A guy in a mask running around isn't too out of the bounds of reality. However, the only problem with doing stuff like this is that it makes horror sequels fucking impossible. Okay, so normally with like film sequels, they try and go, bigger, try and make stuff more spectacular, try and make it bigger and better than the first one. And for some reason, they always do this in a really shit way. For example, Friday the 13th. The first one features Jason's mum just going around killing camp counselors because they let her son drown. Then 2 through 7 is about Jason killing. Then he goes to hell, and then to space? Like, how the fuck did we get here? Now, I was going to talk briefly about jump scares and gore, but the script is already so long. So I think I'll just dumb it down to jump scares are bad, but gore, if it's used well, can be good. And on the subject of gore, I just want to say that Terrifier is definitely Damien Leone's way of just getting all his intrusive and evil thoughts out of his head and just putting them in a film. And you know what? Fair enough. I bet it's therapeutic for him.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Horror in non-horror movies and games can be even scarier than movies and games that are trying to be in the horror franchise or genre, because you're obviously not expecting it. I think the best example for this is in Mario 64, one of the most kid-friendly games out there, but when you go into Big Boo's Haunt, or in Die Die Docks, this fucking freak of nature shows up. Like, what the fuck even is that? It doesn't even have to be just done in making characters look creepy. For example, in Sonic the Hedgehog, if you stay underwater for too long, this fucking noise will start playing and it's giving me a fucking heart attack and I'm only 7 years old, don't hurt me. Or in Breath of the Wild, when a guardian locks onto you, this fucking noise starts. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh. I don't know if this counts, but for horror comedies, for example, Shaun of the Dead,
That's me.
It's mostly comedic with the occasional scare, but then you get to David's death and like, holy fucking shit, bro.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Earlier I said that slashers are scary because they're somewhat realistic. Well, actually breaking the fourth wall and bringing the horror into the real world, I think is one of the scariest methods you can do with horror. For example, in Metal Gear Solid, Psycho Mantis says he's going to read your mind, and then he actually reads your memory card.
Now I'll read more deeply into your soul. I can see into your mind. You like Castlevania, don't you? You enjoy role-playing games.
also live at
Where the fuck did you get that
236
information? Batman Arkham Asylum also uses this fear of every gamer has of the game glitching and crashing. Now, PT is a game that I think I'm going to make its own video on one day, but this was just too good not to add it. At one section in the game, there's a bit where you have to open a door by actually saying the words that are above the door into your PlayStation microphone. Like, that is fucking, that is incredible. Like, that's scary as shit, though. Like, you're bringing that shit into reality. I don't want this shit. I don't want this bitch following me. Now, I think the Blair Witch is actually more well-known for its ties to reality than the film itself. For example, there were missing posters of the actors, sympathy cards were sent to the parents of the actors, and there's an entire website that I'm pretty sure is still up about the Blair Witch. Now, the movie itself isn't really that scary.
Tell me what you want, Josh!
I mean, for most of it, it's literally just them looking at rocks. But I don't blame people for actually getting scared of this shit. Like, they brought this into reality in the early days of the internet. Who could blame them for thinking this was real? But something that I've just realised is that they were probably the first ever vlogging channel to film a dead body. But unfortunately, they certainly weren't the fucking
made a
last
severe
ones.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
As I mentioned earlier, typical slasher horror isn't very memorable and won't stick with you for a long time. But psychological horror does just that. For example, The Shining is still one of the most confusing films ever, with no definitive answer of what the fuck you just watched. I mean, there's an entire documentary called Room 237, which is people literally just saying what they think the movie is about. Some people think it's about the Holocaust, some people think it's about the Native American genocide, and some people think it's literal proof of how Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landing. But the film that stuck with me the most, that was in the psychological horror and just the horror franchise as a whole, was definitely Perfect Blue. Because this movie fucked me up for about a week. For 1 week, I had to avoid this movie like it was the fucking plague. The movie basically follows an ex-pop star turned actress, Mima, as she tries to become more famous. Now, I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but I think it sticks with you for the most part, because people are being killed, and it switches between the deaths of characters being reality and being part of the movie that Mima is making. I don't think it helps that she's got this creepy stalker who we don't really know what her relation to him is. At first he's just one of the security guards at a concert, then he's part of the film crew, and now he's an actual actor? But I think the film really sticks with people for a long time is because we can see Mima's mental health take a big decline. I don't think this helps that a lot of people can relate to it, as she's just trying to prove that what she's just left is worth it, because what she's going to do is going to work out in the end. And she's being bullied by her ex-pop star idol. I know that sounds kind of dumb, but if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. And just like The Shining before it, Perfect Blue creates more questions than it answers. Now, although I do recommend you to watch it, I must warn you, there are some heavy themes. I'm going to put them here for you to be able to see. But I do recommend on you watching it, and I just have to say, this is definitely the scariest horror film I've ever seen. Now, I know there's some absolutely abhorrent film that will fucking almost kill you inside, movies like Midsommar, but at least for me, this fucked me up.
But ultimately, in my opinion, which is a fact, I think what makes good horror is something that's going to stick to your core. Something that will make you want to avoid that film at all cost, and something that you're not going to forget for a long time. But anyway, if you don't mind me, I'm going to go get fucking hammered at the Winchester, so I'll see you later. Bye!
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do. What?
Stay away from me, Homer!
Give me the bat, Marge. Give me the bat. Give me the bat. Come on. Give me the bat. Give me the bat. Scaredy cat. Yeah.